Welcome to our daily reading for Wednesday, February 8th, 2017. Remember, it's a general reading. See what feels right for you. See which signs, symbols, bells, whistles, messages, energies resonate for you and bring you clarity to what you're wondering, concerned, confused, inquiring, dreaming, praying about. We're all children of God. We're all psychic. We're not all going through the same thing at the same time at the same pace. So see what feels right for you. It could be one sign and that brings you clarity. It could be the whole reading. It could make sense later. In the end, always use your logic and intuition together to make sound decisions based in love for the highest, greatest good of everybody. So we're all uplifted in love. See how it feels for you. How you ride these energetic waves that come through here is always up to you. Is it your wave? Is it not your wave? Are you waiting for another wave, preparing for that wave, crashing into the wave, riding the wave, or ignoring the wave? Also, feel free to make this an interactive video if you want to pull some cards for yourself. And if you have some time, try to check out the musical playlist below. See if there's more depth to this reading for you in any of those songs, or just enjoy the music. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoy this reading. I love you. I'll see you in a moment. Welcome to our daily reading for Wednesday, February 8th, 2017. Let's begin and see what kind of energy is coming through today. Let's see what God, Source, Holy Spirit, our higher self, angels, and energies of love have for the highest, greatest good of all. Let's get clarity and focus on the energies coming through today and wisdom to ride these energies best. Let's start with one card and get a nice focus and foundation for our day, Wednesday, February 8th. 2017. One card. Oh my. So the card today is the Lovers. So major arcana 6. This could be a Gemini energy. This could be a decision energy, making a decision and completely allowing somebody else that same freedom to make a decision. Usually this comes through when both make the same decision. But you never know when this card comes through what somebody else might do. You know, there's always a threefold here. There is always divine circumstance, divine timing, whatever happens around you that you can't really control. It's just there, circumstance. And then there's your part in that decision. And then there's the other person's part in that decision. And each part has the choice to make that decision, connecting to his or herself, you know, what's good for them or not good for them, or the other person, you know, taking that other person into consideration, what's good for them, what's not good for them, you know, communication, not communication, whatever they choose, and their higher self, God, with whatever happens around that you can't control, and coming back to your center and finding what you can control about that situation so that the decisions you make are with, I'm getting integrity and love. Decisions you love, you're happy with, that you fall in love with more and more every day because you keep making better decisions. So when this card is in harmony and you're in tune with your higher self and what's really good for you, even just recognizing what you've been through in the past that wasn't so good for you and deciding to not repeat it, to do it different if you have to adapt, to change, you know, to grow, to learn. We all learn, especially in love. And you know what? You go into a different relationship or a new relationship and you start it all over again. You relearn everything again. Perhaps you got some strength, you know, some, you know, the good roots of what works for you, but it's always going to change when that other person comes into the world, into your world, into the picture. And then you have their entire world in your picture too, or not. You know, in your whole world that happens. You know, sometimes you're with somebody a long time and then something happens in their world and the whole thing changes, you know? So it's working with those changes or not. Sometimes the Lovers comes through and this is a breakup. It's deciding that where you are is not where you want to be and there's some place that has to be better. You know, sometimes it can be so many different dynamics that come through. It could be these Lovers deciding to go on vacation, to get out of town, you know, to make a decision that's good for them and not all about what everything else is going on or what everyone else is saying to them, just to finally be alone. So they know what's good for each other and themselves in that situation, you know? Or this could be two people deciding, I don't know, their next date. It could be discussing their children together, what's best for their children. The Lovers could be making a choice to spend some time apart so they can figure out who they are first, so they're stronger when they come back together, you know? So wherever you are on this, it could just be having somebody come into your world that you really work in harmony with. I hear like domestic harmony. Even if you're really different, even if you're at a really weird place in your own world or that other person is at a weird place in their world, there's a way to make that world harmonize with each other, you know, with one another. I hear like worlds in harmony. So I feel like it starts with talking, communication, discussing something, being open, heart to heart, exposing something, healing something. It looks sort of like this. That's sort of cool. It's like a purple like veil. Look at that. So maybe you have to, I'm getting like close the curtain today. You know, it was like open the curtain yesterday and hang out in the spotlight. And I feel like it's a different kind of light. It's candlelight. It's sensual. It's tender. Even if this is just you and somebody that you know, like a friend or a family member, you know, don't always look at this. It could be platonic here, a brother or sister, something like that. Somebody you care about, you know, that, you know, you can feel vulnerable around and feel strong around. Maybe it's both, you know. Let's see what else I get. I'm just getting that you want to close the curtain and just maybe not even talk. Oh, you know what I just heard? I just heard, a little less than a less, and what is that? Like, Adriana Grande, Dangerous. I'll put that below. I kind of like that. I kind of like that song. So, you know, maybe it's not about so much of the discussion all of the time. Maybe it's sometimes paying attention to one another, whatever you need with each other. We all have different needs. You know, and those needs change throughout the day, throughout the season, throughout our relationships, you know, so it's wherever you are and seeing what you actually need right now. Maybe finding out what somebody else needs. Maybe you thought it was something else and it's something totally different. Maybe it's not what it always was and something has changed. So rather than not discussing it and having things get weird, maybe it's discussing it, or maybe it's just coming back to home, you know, so you're not feeling so overwhelmed with always talking about problems or figuring something out or analyzing something, and you just bring it back to the energy of love. Here, it's the Lovers. It's loving. So let's get clarity on this card. That's a big card. It's a nice card. It's sensual. It's tender, but it's sort of PG. Like a love song, you know? So let's get clarity on the Lovers from, well, let's do this. I have the Animal Messages Oracle cards. So let's get clarity on the Lovers for Wednesday. Major Arcana 6. Let's clarify the Lovers. The Ladybug. Wow. So the Lovers is having a time of good fortune. So maybe this is a nice moment. Whatever it is. It could be just silence. I just heard Silence by Sarah McLachlan. This is the time of good fortune and abundance. So be willing to receive all good things in your life. Blessings. Also gratitude. Even if it's a small thing, a small opportunity, a small opening, you know, a small moment. Even if you only have a moment with someone, that moment can be powerful. It can be meaningful. It can just be a hug, no words, and that can say everything. So whatever moment it is that you have that's blessed today, don't let that blessing pass you by. Like, allow it to, I'm getting like, I'm saying like fortify you. Like, that was sort of a weird word to come through. So, the Ladybug. I feel like it's when you think things are down, when it's not going to work out, and some little miracle pops through that you don't understand in the beginning what it is exactly, and then you discover later how lucky it is. I feel like this doesn't come through right away. It's little things that feel good, that feel warm, that make a bigger picture later, that put everything together later, that maybe it's like feeling a little luck at a time, and then, I don't know, time of good fortune and abundance. So maybe it starts with paying attention to the little things you have, and those little things add up to be a big abundance. It could be one big thing coming through too that just overwhelms you, like I'm getting like overtakes you, like sweeps you off your feet even. So maybe this is something that kind of comes through and just takes you by surprise. Maybe it's that conversation you didn't think you'd have, or that moment you didn't think you'd get to have today, or it's just a small thing that makes a big change in your world. It could be just that text coming through, or that thing happening at the right moment when you needed it. I'm getting like somebody who knows your coffee. Like, so however you take your coffee, even if this person doesn't know how you take your coffee, even if you don't drink coffee, maybe they'll learn you don't drink coffee. But I just think of honey. When I think of coffee, that's what I put in my coffee. It's really weird. So like once a month I might have a cup. So I don't know why coffee came through, especially with me, because I hardly ever drink it. There was a time where I was into the café con leches, and I'd put honey in it. All right, so let's get another card. Clarity on the Ladybug. Good fortune. The Lovers. Number 6. Possibly a Gemini. A twin energy. Something that has something so similar you can't explain it, and probably something so different you can't understand how it's so similar. Something like that, you know? Masculine, feminine. It makes me think of red and purple, and then I look down and the sheets are red and the curtains are purple. Because when I think of red and purple, I think of the opposite spectrums of the color spectrum. Like when it's on a flat strip, you know, you have ultraviolet, infrared. And then I always think of it sort of coming around together, and how it must be interesting here where it's meeting, you know, the between. So that was sort of weird. All right, let's get clarity on the Lovers and the Ladybug. I feel like maybe the Ladybug is a totem too for some of you, like a good luck sign. Maybe just today, pay attention to any ladybugs you see. That might be like a little flag for you, a little signpost telling you something. Whatever you feel inside of you that tells you. Or maybe that pattern with the red and the white polka dots and maybe some black. All right, let's like polka dots maybe today. It makes me think of polka dot, itsy bitsy teeny weeny polka dot, yellow polka dot bikini. I'll put that below if I can find it. That was a weird song to pop through, especially with because it's red. All right, let's get another card. Let's see what's coming through for Wednesday. Clarity on the Lovers and the Ladybug. And wow, this is a really special day. This is new beginnings. It is judgment. So release judgments, release expectations, release what you think everything should or shouldn't be until you discuss it together, until you feel it out together, until you work it through together, until you have that next day together to see what happens. You know, each day is a new beginning. Each day is a new chance. It's not just about a brand new start in the relationship and here you go. Or a brand new, well, it could be a brand new relationship and here you go. So release the judgment of everything else that you went through and take it as a strength. Don't drudge the old relationships back. If this is actually somebody coming into your world, even if it's just the past of that relationship that you're in, you know, bring that spark back. Bring that luck back. Bring the positive blessings back, what you remember about falling in love. Or let yourself fall in love with something. You know, this is you also making good choices for you. If you're alone, what do you like to do? Who do you like to hang out with? Where do you like to go? What do you want to change that you never did before? What can you do now? Start to make those good choices. Get yourself out your own door. You know, prepare your space a little bit and then see what might come through. Might be today, might be later. It might just be a connection, but that new beginning might just be your new beginning. What did I just think of? First thing Sunday morning, I'm gonna pack my tears away. What is that? Tony Braxton. That was weird. So I'll put that below. Now I totally hear it. How to look back, I'm gonna find me a better day. Reserve respect, but I totally hear that song loud, so I don't mean to go on a tangent with the singing, but that one's really clear. I'll put that below. That's from the Secrets album. So maybe there's secrets coming out, or maybe it's just, you know, not worrying so much about the secrets of the past or what we went through. We all have shit we went through. You know, we all have things that we love and, you know, things that we don't like so much. So this is offering a new start. This is a trumpet sounding. This is that violin playing. This is whatever it is that is your call and you're hearing it. I think somebody else is going to hear that call too. Maybe they're different calls, you know, but you're going to hear something together and you're going to figure it out together to do what's best for y'all together, you know. Even if you had bad breakups in the past and this is a breakup today or around today, it doesn't have to be a bad one, you know. You can take the beautiful things in the time you had and see that as a growth. It was a time you had and it was worth all the time you had because it brought you to where you are now to perhaps go through a new door a different way. Or this is a coming together again to remember what door you went through back then and to decide to go through a new one together this time. Whatever this is, or you're walking through that door yourself and eventually somebody's going to come through that door for you. You know, maybe they're working behind a closed door right now, getting ready on themselves, and eventually you'll, you know, come to the same place. You'll meet at a crossroads. You'll meet. You'll just meet. Maybe it starts, let's see. I feel like releasing judgment on anything you went through, anything you did, and just taking it upon yourself to change it, to do it different. Whatever comes into your world, it's always a new experience, especially if it's a new relationship. It's starting all over. You know, never trade one situation in and just get a whole other situation just perfect. None of us are perfect. You know, it's always, it's a total new book that you take off the shelf and it makes a new book come out in you. You know, you discover new things about yourself in that new situation. So I didn't expect this to be such a love reading coming through. So it is coming through as a a love reading, but this could be starting to love yourself too if you're single. So that's cool too. Start to love yourself, you know, feel good about your surroundings, what you have going on. So whoever comes in knows you have it going on, and then you're not having to need that so much when it comes through because you got something going on, you know, and that also puts less pressure on whoever's coming through, or perhaps inspires someone else, you know, whatever dynamic it comes through. Starting a new, well, that's pretty big. This is starting a new life, finding your purpose, and a forgiving and compassionate review of the past. So even if you're thinking about that thing, you don't have to drudge it up and make it the same. Review it so you know what you don't want to do again and what you should do this time. You know, you sit down, you take a moment to contemplate, you take it all in, and then you release what doesn't work. And then you build those muscles from the strength and you move forward different. So let's get one more card for the Ladybug 20 New Beginnings. This also makes me think of a feminine energy, an allowance energy. What you can't control, you can't control. What can you do about something? You know, where I just heard, wow, Ani DeFranco Superhero out of nowhere. That's interesting song to come through. This is also very interesting. I really like that song. Found religion in the greeting card aisle. Now I know that Hallmark was right. And every pop song on the radio seems to be speaking to me. And art may imitate life. Life may imitate art, but art imitates TV. I may have said that wrong, which when I say that always makes me think of Riptide when she says the lyrics wrong. I think it's Riptide. I'll put all that below. It's a lot of music coming through today. So just forgiving the past, yourself, everyone else. We all go through things. We all learn. We all grow up. We all learn again. It all just starts all over again sometimes. You know, sometimes we need a big restart, a redo, you know, on something. So allow a redo here. Forgiveness, you know, compassion. See something a different way. Allow freedom. The Lovers brings freedom. There's no chains here in this relationship. Everything is flowing free. It's a choice. So allow everyone to choose, you know, to hear their own song, hear their own timing. I guess you can't help somebody else. Stop judging. You know, you can just be a beacon, a foundation, a support yourself. You can just do it yourself, you know, actions, and just be that presence and be that change. And then eventually you're already the change in that situation. Therefore, the situation's already different because you've changed. Therefore, eventually the other person has to change and adapt because you've changed your energy on what was. So it starts with you here. And not worrying so much about others. And I think that start with you magnifies and goes out there and radiates and brings others back to you. Perhaps the right thing, the right relationship, the right connection today. Or maybe that's later, but it starts with you, right? All right, one more card from the Oracle of Visions. I was actually going to use the Winged Enchantment. I was going to go bird for the finale of this reading, and I couldn't find the book. So that was my sign to go back to the Oracle of Visions. So there are actually two different decks in today's readings from the Sierra Machete, but one is the Oracle and one is the Tarot of Dreams. So let's get clarity on 20 New Beginnings. Archangel Jermel, also known as Judgment in other decks. So let's get clarity on 20 New Beginnings, the Lovers, and the Ladybug. Oh, so trusting your own discernment today. You know, what is real and what is just an illusion? What did you make up in your head about a situation and what really actually happened? You know, this is good. This is coming through. This is trusting that you know what is real and what is the bullshit. It's also being able to read in between the lines what everything that comes to you, you know, and offers peace might not actually be peaceful. Even if it's generally peaceful, every once in a while we have a day that's not. So you see different sides of everything, especially in a relationship. You're going to see all sides of a situation. So jumping through hoops, maybe before you were jumping through hoops or everything was just sort of an illusion. Nothing was of substance, you know? So this is coming through to take away those illusions, those expectations, you know, the map that you got that was the wrong map. I see like opening up a door. I just saw a really weird picture. I just saw like a person walking through a door and a map, but like the size of a carpet, but a big empty room, like a warehouse. And instead of a carpet, it's like a big paper map and you can only see a part of it. So pay attention to that part of the map that you're on, that you're standing on and in, and, you know, see what it's all about. And then push the next part open and then look at that part next. So this is also number 25. That's a 7. So it brings you on the road to truth, to discovering what is true, what is good, what is right, and what wasn't. And how you're not going to be fooled again. You know, you're not going to be taken a fool. I just heard what a fool believes. I'm getting a lot of music today. All right, 25 is misleading, illusion, and confusion. Don't be misled by what you see around you or be influenced by what you see. That's that. Trust what comes together here, that real energy that happens in that real conversation. Not the he said, she said, hearsay, blah, blah, even the whatever went on in your head or the other person's head. Those things that you made up that never happened. It could be worry, fear, expectations. Just leave that all outside and go inside this, you know, little oasis here and come back to being naked, your naked selves, your real selves here. You don't have to hold on to anything unless you want to, you know? So you live in a world which is a playground of illusion, full of false paths, false values, and false ideas. But you are not a part of that world, Saya Baba. And it makes me think of people that go out on a date or with their friends, and then they're just on their phones, not having a conversation, just... Let me check in everything on here, on the people that I can't see or talk to, even though you're in front of me and I could talk to you now. I'm just going to go on here. So if there's somebody in front of you, like a real live person you can hug, pay attention to that person, whoever it is, you know, the people in our real environment. And if there's a way that you can't, and you can still extend that love out there, and use what we have that could be misleading, make sure you use it with the truth of your heart, you know, with the love of what is real. So it's not an illusion later. It's like, you know, seeing somebody like that has the thing and they have the date. I don't know if you do the online dating or anything like that. I guess you could very possibly go to see someone and it's not their picture. It's not really them. And then you go to see them. You don't even know who you're meeting. So it starts with being yourself here. You're yourself with somebody. So who are you? Who are you around that you are your most naked, you know, self with? You're comfortable here. So what we experience and how we interact is often indirect and from a distance. Physical interaction that would normally have provided all of our senses an opportunity for feedback and assessment is now increasingly being replaced by virtual alternatives. From email and texting to social networking, our relationships are becoming increasingly defined by virtual interaction that can distort and substitute reality. We can now create multiple new identities. How we go about quantifying people and events is now increasingly based on new paradigms that can provide a false perspective both for viewed and viewer alike. You know? It's hard to, it's only here if you're actually in this environment. You know what goes on here. If you choose to come together, you know, I'm getting the like closed sign on the door, closed, open, you know, do not disturb sign here. So if you're outside thing. You can't assume anything of what's going on in here. It's only up to these two to know, is kind of what I'm getting. So if you need to go behind closed doors to figure something out today by yourself with someone else, and just, you know, get out of the chaos around here and all that. I'm getting even like just too many phones on, like a public place, too many phones, too many things, too much distraction. Go where you're not distracted so you can come together and make decisions out of love. When the Lovers comes through, it's another chance to do what's good for you and take into consideration the other person. Okay, guys, I hope this was helpful. I love you so much. I'll see you soon.